Hi everybody, this is Dr. Samantha Sweeney and this is Just for Fun Friday, your weekly dose of how to infuse diversity into your life and the life of your kids. I love this new item because it is my daughter's favorite new show, and it's absolutely adorable. It's on Disney Junior. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. It's called Elena of Avalor. You might have heard of it if you are a Disney Junior fan like we are in our family, and it's really sweet, and so I'm going to tell you more about it. So Common Sense Media recommends this for ages 5 and up. Like I said, it's my daughter's favorite show, and she is 3 and has no problem following along, no problem understanding anything, and she doesn't get scared. There is some like sorcery and that's a tricky word, wizardry throughout the show, but she's not scared by it. I have watched it with her. I don't think it's all that scary. It really just depends on your child. If they scare easily, then maybe the show isn't for them, but I think most little kids will be able to handle it. So I think ages like 3 and up would really be fine for this show. So let me tell you more about the show itself, because I really actually totally love it. I think it's absolutely adorable. So Elena is a princess, and she, through, I don't want to give everything away, but through some happenstance and things that happen, some magic, all that kind of stuff, she became the crown princess, meaning that she is the princess of the land, right? She is the leader. Her parents are no longer there, and so she is the one who is ready to lead the rest of the kingdom. But she's very young still. She's only 16, so she gets input from what they call a grand council, these different people who are like her advisors in figuring out how to rule the land. So she gets input from these advisors, which includes her grandparents, which is I'll tell you why that's relevant later on. But the thing I really like about it is that this is considered to be Disney's first Latina or Hispanic princess, which is really fantastic. And there is Spanish, the Spanish language kind of infused throughout. So they'll be speaking in English, and then every once in a while they'll say a Spanish word, like amigo or abuelito, or whatever the case may be, whatever is appropriate at that time. And it's actually pretty easy for the kids to kind of figure out what those different words are. Some of them you might need to ask your parents or might need to look it up, but that's not a big deal. Actually, it's actually kind of fun. So I like that there's that Spanish infused throughout, and talking a lot. There's a lot there that has to do with Spanish culture and Latino culture that I think isn't in any other like Disney shows or Disney movies. So I think that's a really cool part of it. And another part about this in terms of the diversity is Elena herself is like awesome. She's just so cool. She's not like this damsel in distress princess who wants like a prince to come and rescue her. No, she takes her job very seriously. She knows that she's the ruler of the land, even though she needs input from other people. She takes that very seriously, and so I think she kind of kicks butt. She's she's really is defies a lot of gender stereotypes about what a princess should be, which I think is really, really cool. And another diversity theme that I think is a little bit more subtle, but it's definitely in there, is this thing about age. So the wisdom and input of her grandparents who are on the council is just as important as anybody else about her age or anything like that. So I really love that piece of it, that her grandparents, and even though they're older, and sometimes we can be prejudiced against people who are older and assuming that they don't have as much to offer as people who are younger, and that's just 110% not the case. And in this show, they really show that her grandparents are like a full participating part of the council, and they're really, really important. She really respects them and their opinions. So I really love that. So in all of our Just for Fun items, we rate them on a scale of 0 to 5, and this is a 4. And the reason I gave it a 4 and not a 5, because it's real close, it might be like a 4.3. Is because there's not as much visible, like the diversity. I like that we have a princess now that is Latina and she speaks Spanish, and I think that that's a really important thing for so many people in this country and so many people around the world who speak Spanish. You can watch this show and think, wow, there's a Disney princess that really represents me. I think that's really, really special. One thing I think that would be really cool about this, and maybe they'll infuse this as the show kind of goes on, is that there's not a lot of visible diversity. And within the Latino community, especially here in the States, certainly, but also throughout the world, there's a lot of racial diversity throughout the Latino community, right? There are people who are very, very pale and blonde, and there are people who are, much, much darker than me, and like, they're considered to be Afro Latino. And there's not a lot of representation in this show for that. I would love if they added it. So Disney Junior, if you're watching, you should add a little bit of that in. There's a little bit, but not as much as I think there could or should be. But the show is phenomenal, and I think it's a really important show. And I love that they have Spanish, and I love that Elena is this like kick butt princess. She's not waiting around for some man to come like rescue her or whatever. She's awesome. So definitely check it out with your kids. Head on over to the website www.culturallycompetentkids.com, where you'll get a quick one-page guide of everything we just talked about today. So the age range, the different diversity themes, some questions and comments to ask your kids about Elena as you're watching the show together, because trust me, you'll get sucked in. It's such a fun show. And also ways to continue the conversation, because remember, it's not just important to have fun with diversity and to watch a fun princess like Elena, but also to keep going, to keep having more conversations about what it means to be Latina, what it means to be a ruler, what it means to be a girl and be a ruler. Those conversations are really important too. So head on over to the website, check out the show, and I'll see you next week for another Just for Fun Friday. Thanks for joining us for another Just for Fun Friday. I hope that you enjoyed it and that it inspired you to go out there this weekend and have even more fun with your kids. I've created something that I'm really excited to share with you, and I think you're really going to love. I've compiled this amazing book list of all different diverse books. It has different characters, different storylines, and I think you're really going to love it. It's for kids of all ages, from babies, yes, babies, all the way up to young adults. So in order to get it, go to www.culturallycompetentkids.com. Sign up for the newsletter, and it'll be sent straight to you right away, right to your inbox. You can use it for all sorts of things. You can use it for learning time, you can use it for literacy time, or just fun snuggle time with your kids. So sign up, enjoy it, and I'll see you next week for another Just for Fun Friday.